Okay, we're going to be looking at what we call mean. Some people call average. Same thing. You guys deal with it a lot, right? Grade point average, GPA. You guys deal with it. Now, mean, what it means is make everything equal. As an example, let's assume a few of us, let's say a group of people get together, and then we come over and say, all right, guys, let's all have the same amount of money. So one thing we will do, we will empty our pockets to see how much money we have. We add the money that we have, and then we will divide it by how many people there is. So what we do, we add everything, and then we divide it by how many people. Like that's what we mean with making it even, make it the same. So looking at this thing, find the mean for each data set. So we're looking at height. Let's assume that we could take some height of the tall people and add it to the short people. What we're looking is what will be the height if we were all the same height, according to this data, this people here. So some of them are 72 inches, 63 inches, 74 inches, 72 inches, so on and so forth. What we will do, first of all, let me add them all. So for the mean, again, another word that we use for mean is average. So let me write that here. Right? Like I said, they do mean the same thing. Mean, average is the same thing. What we will do, we add them all. So in this case, let me go 72 plus 63. I mean, here at the side, I'm going to use a calculator. You guys will not see it because I'm using it here at the side, but I'm going 72 plus 63 plus 74 plus 72 plus 77 plus 65 plus 71 plus 72 and plus 71. I added them all and it gave me 637. So for right now, 637. Again, I added everything. I added the height of everybody. Again, remember the example that I used for money? I said we add all the money we have, but then we're going to divide it. I'm going to write my division as a fraction. We're going to divide it by how many people there are. So I'm going to count. I'm going to count how many numbers we have. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I'm going to go 637 divided by 9. According to my calculator, I get 70.777 and a bunch of sevens. Okay. So I'm going to go 70 point and a bunch of seven. Now the question might be, where do I stop? On your homework, sometimes I will specify round it to the nearest tenth or nearest hundredth or nearest thousandth. But before I move on, let's take a look. When it is only the first numbered, I'm going to say that's what we call nearest tenth. So 1 decimal place. If I say 2 decimal places, we call that hundredth. The third decimal place will be thousandth, and then 10,000th, and so on and so forth. In this case, because it doesn't say it, because sometimes it will specify. If it doesn't specify, let me go to the nearest hundredth. So 2 decimal places. However, I do take a look at the next number, in this case, a 7. I do take a look at the third decimal number. If the third decimal number is 5 or more, in this case, it is 5 or more, this number will push this up 1 number. So instead of writing 70.77, my answer in this case will be 70.78. Again, if the third decimal numbered is 5 or more, so it is big enough, it pushes the previous number up, 70.77. Now, if the third number was 4 or less, then it does nothing. I just ignore it. All right, let's take a look. Now here I see dots. Interesting. Now notice how there's numbers on the number line at the bottom. And I'm skipping some numbers, right? Now, one thing, I see a 24 and a 26. You guys see them on the left? I see a 24 and a 26. So I'm gonna say the number in between, the one I skipped, is 25. And then I'm gonna say this number right here is 27. So this number right here, it is 23. Now what these dots mean is for each dot, I'm gonna count one of those numbers. So I'm gonna count 23 twice. So when I add, I'm gonna go 23 plus 23, right? I'm gonna do 23 twice. 24, I'm gonna do it once. And then 25 and 25. Right? Notice I did 25 twice. 26 and 27 only once. Now 28 and 29, I'm not gonna include this. So I don't have a 28 and 29. All right, so let me add my numbers. Remember I said I'm gonna add my numbers. So let me go 23 plus 23 plus 24 plus 25 plus 25 plus 26 plus 27 plus 30 plus 31 and then 31 again and then plus 36. Okay. So I got 155. Okay. Let's write this thing out. So I added all my numbers and it gave me 155. Now let me divide this by how many numbers I have. With the dots, it's easy to count, right? How many dots you see? I'm gonna count them. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 155 divided by 11. According to my calculator, oh, hold on. I think I added this wrong. Let me do this again. Let's see. I think I added these wrong. So let me re-add. So oh, it paused right here. Let's see. Okay, so let me grab my calculator again, and I'm gonna go 23 plus 23 plus 24 plus 25 plus 25 plus 26 plus 27 plus 30 plus 31 plus 31 again, and then plus 36. Okay, so now when I added my numbers, I have 301. Okay, again, you guys were not seeing my calculator. I was doing it at the side. So now I have, let's see, 301. All I did was I added them all. And then we counted how many dots did we count? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right, so I'm gonna go my calculator, 301 divided by 11. According to my calculator, I get 27.36, 36, 36, 36, and a bunch of 36s. Okay. So remember, I divided this by 11, and I get 27.36, 36, 36, on and on and on. Okay, so I'm gonna run it to 2 decimal places. I do take a look at the third decimal place. It is too small. Remember, too small is 4 or less. So 3 it's pretty small. So I'm just gonna ignore this. My answer will be 27.36. Again, if the number is big enough, if it would have been big enough, it would push the previous number up. Because it was too small, I just ignored that. All right, let's take a look at question number 3. So here the average lifespan. So there's some animals, there's some years. So a mouse lives about 4 years. A bee lives about 1.5 years. A chicken, 15 years. A parrot, whoa, 80 years. And so on and so forth. What I'm going to do, let me add these numbers. Again, you're not seeing my calculator, but I have a calculator here to my side. So I'm just going to add my numbers. 4 plus 1.5 plus 15 plus 80 plus 36 plus 24 plus 100 plus 20 plus 30 plus 18 plus 14. Okay, I added everything and gave me 342.5. Let me divide this by how many numbers did I add? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Oh, okay, so let me divide this by 11 again. Again, I'm using my calculator. You guys don't see it here, but I have 31.1363636. Okay, so 31.1363636, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna round it to 2 decimal places, so I do take a look at the third decimal number. It is a 6, so big enough. So that 6 is gonna push this number up. So my answer will be 31.14. I'm gonna round it to 2 decimal places. And then our last example for today, I'm gonna be looking at these bars right here. Now, there's a couple numbers. I see some numbers here on the left and literally called numbered. So it looks like I'm looking at Atlantic hurricanes. And then some numbers here at the bottom, tidal years. Okay, now these numbers at the bottom are just titles. Those are the names of the years. So 1940, it seemed like I had 6 hurricanes. I'm looking at how many hurricanes there were. So I'm gonna say 1940, this first bar represents 6. I'm calling it 6 because you see how high it went compared to the number on the left. It's 6. 1941, I'm gonna say that number is 4. In 1942, that number is 4. And then a 5, 8, 5, 3, 5, 6, and 7. So those are the numbers I'm going to be adding. Okay, so let me grab my calculator. Again, you guys don't see my calculator because I have it here at the side. But I'm just going to add those numbers. So I'm just going to go 6 plus 4 plus another 4 plus 5 plus 8 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 and then plus 7. So it gives me 53. So I added my numbers and it happens to be 53. Let me divide this by how many numbers I added. I count the amount of bars. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 53 divided by 10 gives me 5.3. Okay, I didn't have to round or anything. It just gave me 5.3, so I'm done. Okay, so now remember, for the mean, we saw 4 different cases. I can give you guys a list of numbers, It erased when this thing closed. So question number 1, I just gave you guys a list of numbers. On my example number 2, I did it with dots. So we call those a dot plot. And then question number 3, I gave you guys a table. And then question number 4, I gave you guys bars. So I could give you information in any of these 4 methods. That way we're going to figure out the mean. We're going to add all the numbers and divide it by how many numbers we added.